Alright, hello ghouls of the crypt. My name is Paris, and welcome to the CRYPTCAST, where we talk about the most spooky and fun shit for your listening pleasure. I'm here with my co-host Ewan. Say hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Yeah, let's get on with it. Let's do the first question, the first little topic to do. Why are you gay? Ewan, why are you gay?
Why am I gay? It's more fun, more obnoxious, I guess.
I mean, like, if there's a hole or a pole, there's a goal right there. So, I'm gay because Mads Mikkelsen. He's hot as fuck.
Mads Mikkelsen is the one that's into Scandinavian people.
I don't fucking know. Have you ever seen that man? You ever watch Hannibal?
I have, yeah. Have you ever seen Valhalla Rising?
Rising. No, I have not.
Okay, yeah, he plays this, like, Viking warrior person in that movie. If you're into Mads Mikkelsen in, like, a distinctly sexual way, you should check that one out. You'd probably
I was into him because of Galen and the Chief from James Bond.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, I guess we wrapped that one up. Number 2 now? Can you elaborate on the fear of God?
Can you elaborate on the fear of God? I think the thought of something so massively powerful that is overlooking everything and knows my every move is fucking terrifying. I look over my shoulder every day. How about you, Juan?
Yeah, this is a big problem for me. I'm massively terrified of God, and I'm terrified of hell. Even though I don't really believe in hell, I think about it all the time, and it's terrible. I think it's something like that. It's that feeling of like having surveillance on you all the time. That's really kind of upsetting. But when the surveillance is actually able to punish you, that's even worse. So I don't know.
It's the fear of God because I'm afraid of him because he made me. I didn't fucking ask to exist, but he is fucked up. Why?
Why? Making something as terrifying as Paris, then why shouldn't he be feared? Yeah, that's fair. Were you raised religious?
No, not really. I've been in a church once, and I was like 5.
Okay. I'm wondering if that makes more
religion is a thing that kind of radiates with me. I want to believe in it. There's so much stuff on the contrary that makes me like, man, this is bullshit.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's bullshit. I definitely can't argue there. I generally like religion, but it all scares me a bit, so I don't bother, really. I have before, but I was raised really Christian, so I kind of am like, I have a weird perspective on it.
Religion's always a fickle thing. You know, my father once taught me that when you walk into a bar, you never talk about 2 things, that being politics and religion, because you're not going to change anybody's fucking mind.
Well, so
that's why I just usually avoid the topic. But here,
looking at the list of things, we're probably going to be talking about those 2 things more than the other stuff, I think.
Yeah. This is the one time we can talk about it, not offend anybody. Well, actually, we're going to offend somebody, but fuck you. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So now number 3, then?
Alright, I got this one. Have you ever been a clue? Should help why?
See, this is a really good question.
It really is.
One I've been thinking about for a while. I'm going to say yes. And true.
Alright, number 4. 30 seconds to critique the social law of policing. Go.
I think police serve to protect private property and uphold a status quo that is generally not worth upholding. I guess instances where violence takes place in a society should be handled by some form of authority, but whether that authority is tied up with the state is up for questioning. I don't think they should be, because I think the state is the Antichrist.
Well, me as a person, I personally think that police is really for a population, but not for an individual. Like, if you're policing for, like, the individual scale, that is too much control and fucking totalitarianism at that point. If you're controlling a population, man, you ever hear the song, fuck, what was it called? The police have tanks because the kids have guns. I forgot the name of the song was, but it had that lyric in it.
I don't.
The weaponization of the police is my problem, but police is a necessary role in society.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on what the police. I think policing under capitalism is always going to not work because
There's going to be police and everything. It's just people are fucked up.
Yeah,
man. It's going to get corrupt no matter what.
It's unavoidable. It's just that when the system that it's serving, which police exist to serve the system, and when the system being served is a poor one, it's never going to work. But number 5 is thoughts on Margaret Thatcher.
Ding dong, the wicked bitch is dead.
I echo that completely. I wish she would die already. Number 6, are you a feminist? You have 1 minute to explain your answer.
Oh my fucking god.
Women be allowed to drive.
Oh, this is going somewhere. I already know it. You're going first because I gotta think about this
shit. No, I went
first
the last one. Don't even. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, I'm lying to you. Yeah, you went first the last one. Am I a feminist? Yeah, I guess so. I don't really believe in gender that hard, so I guess it's just pertaining to feminine, masculine social roles, in which case both of those should probably be treated with an equal amount of respect, just as a division of labor thing. But I don't know. I don't really believe in.
The division of labor thing and feminism and all that stuff is. There's some parts that I agree with and some parts that I just don't, as I do most things. But the whole topic of feminism, or am I a feminist? But as a white straight male with blonde hair and blue eyes, quite literally fucking the manifestation of the majority. I really don't talk about this stuff a whole lot. I talk about true equality. Everything's 50-50, everything yada yada yada, but shit happens.
Yeah, I mean,
and that privilege comes up, and they don't like the fact that they get that privilege taken away because they're absolutely equal.
You can still take a feminist, though. Would you consider yourself advocating for feminism, in a vacuum? Do you believe that men and women should have equal rights?
I feel everyone is everyone. Every person is pretty much the same person. We're all human at the end of the day. It doesn't really fucking matter. Hell, we may think differently, you might look different, you might have a different color of skin, but hey, that's not my problem, that's yours.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think that's fair. Okay, so follow-up question, do you think women should be allowed to drive?
It's your problem.
Yeah, I think that just feeds into what we were talking about earlier.
Oh,
If a man can drive, a woman can drive, that's just normal. And most of the time, driving is required to even fucking get around.
Yeah, hard no from me. Number 7, thoughts on the 2011 Arab Spring protests?
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Fair enough. I googled it a couple minutes ago. I guess it was an anti-government protest in a lot of the Arab countries. I don't know anything about it, so I know that it was a protest, but I think it was a protest for democracy that actually worked. What?
Huh?
Oh, Jerky's here. Hi, Jerky. I like protests. I don't know. I have no real opinion on this one in particular. Sorry.
Yeah, me neither. Whoever put that in, sorry about that. We ain't got much to say on that one. All right.
I didn't pay attention to current events until probably 2018, so.
Alright, what would your fursona be?
This is a good question.
No. I don't fuck with that shit.
Well, okay. But if you had to pick anything, any animal.
Could a giant flying skull be a thing?
No.
I don't know, man.
You're crazy. Go to a zoo, you're gonna find a giant flying skull.
I don't know. I don't I really like crocodiles. My favorite animals are crocodiles and lobsters. But neither one of them is furry.
I think scaly is a type of furry, so you can probably count the crocodile. My favorite animal is probably a deer, so I'm gonna go with deer as a fursona. beast up
We're
there.
gonna guess you didn't like Bambi, huh?
Oh, Bambi's awesome. I like that movie, actually. Good one. Probably the best Disney movie. And then, what do you think of furries in general? I guess you answered this already, but let's expand this a bit.
No, I wasn't saying that I hate furries, it's the fact that it's not my thing. I've met several furries over, like, the past couple of years. They're generally chill, pretty cool people. It's just the bad ones that we're talking about. If you want to go that place. The bad ones are, of course, as their name, the bad ones. They fuck shit up, they fuck dogs, and it's disgusting.
That's true, yeah. Okay, yeah, I think, I don't know, I am also not a furry, but one of my very best friends is a furry, so I've had a decent amount of exposure. And I can say the exact same thing because every single furry that I've interacted with has been very, very nice. But then I hear stories from people I know who are furries, who have interacted with furries that are, like, genuinely some of the worst people I've ever heard of. So I think it's just, like, furries are furries and people are people. So, like, you're obviously going to have good and bad people. But, like, whatever you do, I don't really care that much. Go ahead, be a furry. What really happened on 9/11? Paris?
I think what happened was what happened. Paris flew planes into the World Trade Centers. But it was a big conspiracy. There is a conspiracy that they planted bombs and they lost, like, trillions of dollars, and the United States decided to go to war and fake it all and yada, yada, yada. I don't really believe that. I know that's a really big conspiracy theory, and yeah, it might have some teeth. It just putting that out there, it does kind of have a point, but
Yeah.
I don't believe in it.
Okay, because yeah, I heard a conspiracy theory about 9/11 the other day that it was actually the event was 3D, like, projected on the sky, and it was faked by, like, the Anunnaki alien race, and I like that theory as much as it has its holes or whatever. But I think it pretty much was just a plane going through some buildings. Whoever flew the plane. One thing I like about 9/11 is how I think it was Seth MacFarlane and Mark Wahlberg were both supposed to be on the 9/11 plane, but then they both ended up missing it at the last second. Which
I've heard that one before.
Which has always been my favorite part about the whole 9/11 thing.
I think you're onto something though. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, fair enough. So next question is Woodstock 99.
Good shit.
Good shit. Best Woodstock, probably.
Probably.
Have you seen the documentary about it?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen the documentary about it. I watched a couple videos though.
Have you seen any of the performances, like the like corn one or the?
Yeah, I remember the corn one that caused a riot because it didn't match the vibe or whatever. What the fuck they were talking about?
The Limp Bizkit one was really crazy because they sang break stuff, and Fred Durst was working the crowd so hard, and they were all angry because they had been having like heat stroke, and they were all on like meth and drinking shit water for like the last couple days, and then he sang break stuff and started telling them to let all their rage out, and then everyone started taking apart the stage and all of the barriers and stuff, and crowd surfing on top of these big pieces of wood they tore off the stage.
I mean, like, it's in the name of the song, break shit, so...
Yeah, no, it has to... Yeah, it's definitely probably one of the better music festivals.
Probably.
Alright, number 12.
Thoughts on Rick and Morty?
Yeah, what do you think of Rick and Morty?
Alright, I'm probably gonna get crucified for this, but I never watched it. I never watched it.
Damn it. Shit. Okay. This sucks. Now I'm gonna get put on blast by Stells because I don't like Rick and Morty. I think Rick and Morty is a very, very bad show.
Can I see the show?
And I think it's the first season works okay, I guess, and then the rest of it seems like everyone involved with it had way too much fun making it, which makes me feel upset. I don't like Adult Swim very much, so...
What?
Okay.
Yeah. Some of Adult Swim shit is really good. Like,
yeah, no, I won't deny the $1 Million Extreme World Peace show was really good, and the Eric Andre show was pretty funny. But there's some stuff...
The show Moral Oral was fucking hilarious.
There's like, yeah, no, it's definitely a network that's released some good stuff. But I would probably say that it, at some point, I think more than anything, literally ruined comedy, like as a genre, because it basically turned it so that every single joke had to be this like irony infested, insincere, like post humor stuff where it's like you can only be funny through these very serious or very like kind of, I don't know, self-important means, and it's really annoying because like you can just be funny. Like I just want to watch people make like jokes about like gross shit or something. Like don't be like, I don't know. I hate smart comedy. I don't want my comedy to think it's smarter than me. That's my, and I think all of Adult Swim thinks it's smarter than me, which is what has always bothered me about it.
Some comedy's good, some comedy's bad, but it's all in the right pace and how you're feeling that day. That's what I've discovered.
That's true. Yeah, no, I think there's times where things are just...
My shit personally when it comes to comedy is stand-up. Like, stand-up comedy
this is
good.
This isn't on the list. Who's your favorite stand-up comedian? Because I like stand-up.
Oh, that's fucking hard. I gotta say Steve-O. Believe it or not, Steve-O did stand-up.
Steve-O's stand-up is really good. I actually...
Yeah.
That's a good opinion. Steve-O generally, just a good guy.
In the very beginning, he was not a good person, but he's funny as hell.
Have you ever seen the pictures of like his teeth right before he got them all replaced?
No, I fucking hate that
picture. You should just Google Steve-O meth teeth. It's like, because he got addicted to laughing gas, like doing
whippets.
Which is crazy. Like, it's so hard to get addicted to whippets, but he managed to do that, which earned his respect in my book. Anyways, Paris, what is the worst song?
As much of it as it's from a band I absolutely love, it got overplayed so many times. It's Mariana Cross.
That's the worst song of all time.
It just got overplayed so many times. If you want like truly worst song, that's Slumber Party. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
It's a song about a woman steals your girlfriend, and you're just getting cucked the entire goddamn song. And I don't want to be put down whenever I'm listening to songs.
That's okay. That's probably, yeah. You're probably justified there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been trying to think about this. Have you ever heard "She Keeps Me Up" by Nickelback?
No, I've not.
Okay, because that song is, as bad as it is, I have this weird. I enjoy listening to it, and because it makes me feel sick, like I'm on a really bad carnival ride or something, like one of those ones where you stick to the walls and you spin around. Listening to those carnival rides, so. Yeah, I mean, I don't really love them, but like, it makes me feel like that in the sense that I'm like inches from passing out every time I hear it. And then, the other one might be, do you know are you a metal guy?
I'm a pretty metal guy, yeah.
Good answer. Have you ever listened to Machine Head?
I've heard of it, I never listened to them.
Okay, they have this one song called Bastards, which is very, very low down there for me. Number 16. What is the... sorry. Wow, I just skipped 3. Ignore me. What is the worst movie? Number 14.
Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia? Really?
Yeah, I fucking hate arachnophobia. Wonder why?
Yeah, I do, actually.
It gave me arachnophobia.
Really? Like, you can track?
Yes.
That's awesome. When did this happen?
That's awesome.
I was like 6 years old, and my dad was watching Arachnophobia. I looked at it and said, fuck no. Like, of course, I didn't say fuck no, because I was like 6. But I said, pretty much in my head, fuck no. The equivalent of that. And I've been scared of spiders ever since.
Huh. That's awesome. The worst movie I've ever seen is Jojo Rabbit.
But the one with the Nazi kid?
The one with the Nazi kid, yeah. I think...
Fucking, you gotta stop the Nazis, you know?
I know. I've never seen a movie that made me more unhappy. And I think for that, I have to give it this title of the worst movie I've ever seen. What is the best song, Paris?
As much as I fucking love music and all that stuff, that's a really hard question because it differs so much. I could write you an essay based on some of the songs that I love. Last Caress by the Misfits, The Devil's Trill by Giuseppe Tartini.
Nice.
All amazing. The Devil's Trill especially is such a emotional piece, at least for me, as it like changes your emotions throughout. You feel it. The song is the definition of an emotion. And that's what it makes you feel. It's its own thing.
Yeah, no. Those are the 2? Or do you have any more that you'd like to announce?
Any more that I'd like to announce? There's some Daft Punk songs that I really think are amazing. That like really hit you whenever you first listen to them. Like Da Funk, literally, it's called Da Funk. When that starts out, you kind of get into this rhythm, this like perfect vibe every time. At least to me, it gets you in this like nice, chillaxing, amazing vibe, and that's what I love. When it gets you into that very nice place.
I really like Doing It Right by Daft Punk. That's always been the one that that's a really great song.
I'm getting so much respect for you just because you said that.
It's also because I like Panda Bear a lot. His voice generally just works, but I don't know what my favorite song is. I like, I think there's this song called Double Heart by Robert Rental, which I've been listening to like on and off, just nonstop for the last little while. That one is very high up there. And then I also really like Save Me by Chief Keef. That's one that has always been like in the roster. I don't know. There's a few. A lot of really good music. What is the best movie, Paris?
Mine. My movie.
Your movie?
It's supposed to be out December 19th.
Pardon?
My movie. It's Return of the Goods and Ghosts coming out December 19th.
Oh, you have a date for it. I'm going to mark my calendar here. I'm excited.
Yeah. Coming out on YouTube.
This is going to be so good. What is your favorite movie, then?
My favorite movie, that is very difficult. I have a lot that I like. I watched so many movies in my lifetime of 16 years. I know that First Blood, the first ever Rambo movie, I love a whole lot. I love Home Alone, the second one though. The second Home Alone.
These are really good picks. Yeah, no, that's...
Is there any others that I really love? I love all the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit movies.
Nice.
Yeah, I could go on and on all day.
Cool. Yeah, good picks.
Wait, 1917. 1917 has to be pointed out.
Oh, that's an interesting... I watched that one like a little while ago with my dad. Are you a fan of the one-shot gimmicks, like in like Birdman and.
I like the idea of the one-shot camera, but it's very impractical when shooting, actually, because I've tried to do a one-shot gimmick before in my own movie.
Yeah.
Since I'm practicing to become a director, I'm making short films, and I'm trying to get into film school right now. I tried to do the one-shot camera, and it is such a difficult effect to do. It's shocking. If you're able to do it, kudos to you, but it's just not for everybody. It looks amazing, trust me, but it's okay to cut every once in a while.
I do really like. I think there's a lot of good movies. I'm not a huge fan of like the whole thing where the whole movie looks like one shot because it seems kind of just like overkill. But I do like long shots. They always tend to work well. It's hard to do. You're right, because especially if it's handheld, if you don't have any sort of thing to put the camera on, it becomes really hard to make it look good. Because at the end, whoever's holding the camera is just like having muscle convulsions, and then it just gets all shaky at the end. But yeah, no, it's long shots are good.
Yeah.
My favorite movie is a dumb short film, but my favorite feature length movie is probably Cannibal Holocaust. That one is probably. Pardon?
Oh, you just fucking say Cannibal Holocaust.
I did, yeah. Have you seen it?
That movie's dog shit. What are you talking about, man?
How's that movie dog shit? That movie's awesome.
It's just nothing but gore, man.
No, it isn't. That movie's great because it's like the whole crew got arrested. It's good. It's like it's. I think you could. That's not what makes it
to me. Edgy.
It's not edgy though, because it's got a really like. It's a really strange movie because like the whole thing is basically making like a commentary on like imperialism and like Western fetishism and stuff, but then it's just doing the exact same thing that it's criticizing. So it's like a snake eating its own tail thing. Like it's such a weird, like a mess of a movie. And I've seen it so many times.
Cannibal Holocaust and Green Inferno, two very similar movies, kind of get stuck in the same boat as just being shock films, and that's all they really are to me.
But I don't think
they're pretty much made to piss people off.
Like I don't think
you usually get like if you get like what is some scary movies to watch? Guaranteed somebody's gonna try and fuck with you by saying something along the lines of Cannibal Holocaust and Serbian film. Those are two of the most fucked up shit you'll ever see. Ever.
I think it's different because the Serbian film is made just to be shocking, whereas I don't think the Cannibal Holocaust was made for the sole reason of being shocking. It's actually there's actually things going on apart from just being gross the whole time. Like if you watch the movie, the majority of it isn't gross. There's a few really gross scenes. There's a lot of dead air where it's not spent being gross, and then it's basically like a lot of it is pretty much just like Blair Witch style, like the whole idea, the whole gimmick they have surrounding how they have people recording their own tapes, going to like explore, make the documentary about the cannibals, and as they slowly move in, it becomes this like whole mess, and they all die on their own cameras, and then like the whole movie basically takes place surrounding a screening of this footage by the people who commissioned the documentary. It's really like it's a really strange, like I don't know. It's there's a lot I could say about it, but I don't think it can be boiled down to just like a really simple like just to gross people out. Same with Green Inferno, because like on top of that, both those movies I think are made like technically they're really impressive. Like the editing in Cannibal Holocaust.
I'll give you that one. Green Inferno is the better of the two. I will say that from my own opinion. Green Inferno does have a bit more of a plot. It does have some gore effects that I don't really like, but I do like the idea that the captive people aren't like absolute complete idiots. They do some smart stuff there. You're like spoilers. They sneak marijuana into one of the things to make everybody high so they can get away, right?
That's a good one. Though, but then he gets them the cannibals. They get the munchies and then they eat him alive. That scene is good. But I think Green Inferno is also again sort of weird because it's like these people who are coming and doing this environmental protest and then they get captured by the people that they were trying to protect, and then the only way that they can get free from the cannibals is by waiting for the very bulldozer that they were hoping to protest to come and crush the village. I think that's clever. It's interesting enough.
It's smart. It's smart to play the let's do a little bit of trolling type game of
we do a little trolling. Yeah, that's true.
We do a little trolling. All right, let's move on to the next one. 17. What is something that confuses you?
There's something that confuses me.
Women.
Oh, amen to that, brother. Aging confuses me.
Yeah, aging is a little bit weird. What, how does that even happen?
Yeah, I don't know the idea that you lose every cell in your body, but you stay the same person, second to second to second. That messes with me. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know how it works either. It's we replace every cell in our body in 7 years, right?
I think so. I think it's that cycle.
Yeah, it's that cycle. Every 7 years, you replace every part of your body. I'm guessing it just gets weaker every time.
I guess that would probably be, but you have to wonder. I don't know what it is actually about the. I don't know if the brain replaces. I don't think the brain does, but it's weird how you retain a sort of sense of physical personhood, even though your entire person basically sheds and replaces over time. That persistence is really weird to me. I don't get it. Is women actually your answer, or do you have another?
Pretty much.
Okay, fair enough. I respect it. What is the worst planet, Ferrets?
What is the worst planet? Fucking Neptune.
Neptune. Okay. I think you might be right, to be honest.
There's just fucking nothing interesting there.
Yeah, who cares? What's the best planet? I'm gonna add question 18.
What's the best planet? Probably Earth, because we're here. And it's the prettiest.
I was gonna say Earth or Saturn. That's the best one.
Dude, you know that the Saturn's rings are pretty much every color of the rainbow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that's kind of cool.
Saturn's rings are definitely really cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there soon. Saturn.
Are you a flat earther?
Yes.
How many?
No.
No, I'm not.
I wish I was a flat earther. Every day I wake up and wish that I could just believe it was a flat earth.
I wish I was safe in that ignorance.
I've always, every single day of my life, I wake up and wish that I was a really reactionary, conservative person who believed in the flat earth, because then I wouldn't have to trust anything anyone told me, and I wouldn't have to believe anybody except myself, and I could live in a wonderful, if those people who believe that Freemasons and Jews and stuff run the entire world, they don't have to think at all. It's so great. It would be. I wish I could do that, because it would just be I don't know. It would just be probably peaceful, because you always feel comfortably at war with something. It'd be so great to believe in the flat earth. Then you just wouldn't have to do anything in science, because it's all bullshit. It would be so easy. Do you even a little bit? What about? Is there any sort of suspicion that the Earth might be flat?
No.
You wouldn't even consider it if somebody tried to tell you?
No, not because there's so many tests that prove against it that I believe more by more qualified people.
That's okay. Yeah. That's See, I agree with you, and I don't think the Earth is flat, but I just want it to be so badly. I really.
That power of man, I fucking would it be so awesome? Would it be so cool?
Yeah, no, it would be. If we were surrounded by an ice wall that like teleported you over, that'd be so cool. So now we go to question 19. Or I can't count actually, pretty much. Question 20, which is who killed Kurt Cobain?
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain. Question 21, is Michael Jackson still alive?
No.
Yes. Question 22.
It's just quick
Dyscalculia coming through. Was Avril Lavigne replaced?
Who the fuck's Avril? Who's Avril Lavigne?
She's that singer. She's like a kind of like a pop punk 2000s artist. She made Girlfriend and Skater Boy and those songs.
I don't know.
She did that one kind of racist one at some point, and I think that's where the theory comes from. I don't really know. I didn't listen to Avril Lavigne past a certain point. The Japanese, the really offensive Japanese one that she made, where she dresses up in like Harajuku clothes and stuff. That one is great, but I don't really care about the rest of her career. Thoughts on Dr. Squatch?
The soap?
I think so.
I'll endorse them all day if they sponsor us, but nah, I think that I like their commercials. I think the commercials are great, but I never tried it. I'm fine with my Dove soap and my Head and Shoulders. I don't really need all that shit. I want to smell like a pretty lady if I fucking want to.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm never gonna buy it. If somebody bought it for me, I'd use it in the same way that I probably use.
Yeah, I wouldn't chase after it.
Yeah, if anyone bought me anything, I would probably use it though. So I have no opinion on Dr. Squatch. So, 24, is climate change real?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Yeah, sucks, but I guess it's real. Sigh. 25. Paris. What is your favorite mask?
Shit. I don't know, man. I like a lot of my masks. I like this one.
What do you have?
I don't feel like getting up and getting them, but I have a Guy Fawkes Anonymous mask. I have the Crow. I have a Ghoul from Ghost. I have this one. I have the Crimson Ghost. I have the Riddler. I have. What else do I have?
You have like the new Batman Riddler mask?
Yeah, the new Batman Riddler mask. What else do I have? I think that's all I have right now. But it's probably this one. This one's probably my favorite.
Okay, yeah, I think that leads us to our next question, which is, Ewan, what mask of Paris's is your favorite? And since I've only seen this one, and I'm already such a big fan, I think that's probably going to have to be my pick.
Alright, 27, best Halloween costume you've ever done.
When I was in elementary school, I did this costume. The one where you take a jacket and then you put hooks in the shoulders so that you can push up the jacket and then make it look like your head is falling off.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's really hard to explain without a visual, and since this is audio, I don't have it either way. But I don't know. It's like, imagine it's like the shoulders of a jacket come up really high, and then you twist your head and then push it down, and you it looks like you caught it in your hands. I did one of those in elementary school. I thought it was pretty cool.
That's good. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
My favorite Halloween costume was probably Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII.
Nice.
Because I had, like, the giant Buster Sword that was, like, 4 feet tall.
Oh, no way. That's cool. What did you make it out of?
I made it out of, like, insulation. Like you put in your wall. Like, pink foam stuff.
Like the fiberglass? That's cool.
Not like the fluffy stuff, not the cotton candy, but, like, the actual, like, foam.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, then I painted it silver and used a broomstick handle to make the handle. Just used a bunch of duct tape.
I used to watch
I used an angle grinder to make the blade.
But I used to watch people make real Buster Swords on YouTube when I was in like grade 5. That's still like it's like the least effective sword ever, but
yeah,
it's very cool. And then that leads us to the next question, which is, what is the psychology behind furries?
People want to be animals, I guess. I don't think there's a whole lot there. I think it's probably just a hobby for a lot of people. And honestly, I don't feel like fucking with them, so just let them be them.
You don't feel like fucking with the furry community?
Yeah, I don't. If they can afford a $10,000 fursuit, they can afford a $10 pipe bomb in my mailbox.
Yeah. Okay. Judging, I don't really want to. I don't want to step on any toes. So I don't know if I guess like it's probably not an incredible like psychology thing. Like it's probably the exact same way that any sort of interest or neurosis comes about. Yeah, I don't know. You probably have to dig deeper to actually figure it out. Probably not like a mental disorder or something, if that's what the question is implying. Question 29. Favorite clothing brand?
Abercrombie!
Abercrombie. Good one.
I fucking have Abercrombie everything, because it's super fucking comfortable. This is Abercrombie.
Do you have Abercrombie pants on right now?
Yes.
Hell yeah. That's good. I don't really know. I don't think I wear like clothing with brands that I pay attention to.
I just stopped there. It'd be so fucking perfect. I don't think I wear clothing.
Yeah, I don't think I wear clothing. Every time I wear clothes, it's mostly just stuff that I've bought from like thrift stores. I have a pair of Carhartt pants that fit and
I don't think I bought clothes in upwards of 2 years. Because I just have a whole bunch that I just cycle through. Wash and cycle through.
You have one outfit. You have to do like the Albert Einstein thing where you have like 6 or 7 of the same outfit that you wear every single day of the week and then wash the rest and do it again. That would be good.
I've actually kind of wanted to do that, but I've been too lazy because I'm not that organized.
Yeah, I guess it would help you in effect be like less organized if you wanted, but I don't know. You should look into that though.
Yeah.
What is your deepest secret, Paris?
Oh, I could still get arrested for that shit. I can't tell you. You know, it's a funny thing. I wish that was a joke.
Oh man, this sucks. I want to know it now.
You ain't gonna fucking find out.
Yeah, I guess not. That sucks. Okay. What is your second deepest secret then?
That's a very similar story, my guy.
Dude, just go up the ladder until you can't get arrested for it.
It's gonna be around like fourth.
Fourth?
Fourth deepest secret is that
honestly, if it's like too personal, please don't like force it out of yourself.
Oh no, it's not that personal. It's fucking funny and kind of demented, but.
Okay.
When me and my sister were little kids, we had goldfish. We had this fish tank that was full of goldfish. And I decided, No, I wonder what fish like feels like. What would happen if I poked it? So I poked my sister's goldfish, and it fucking died.
Uh-oh.
It just died instantly?
It just fucking died.
Did you tell her, or is that why it's
No, I just said it fucking died. I didn't tell them that I killed it.
The natural causes.
Okay, that's a good one. In middle school, I stole a pair of headphones, and I still feel bad about it. I never told anybody about it. So that's my deepest secret, I think. I think about that very often. 31. Are cats cursed?
Yes.
Yeah, I own a cat, and they're definitely cursed.
I love cats. I really like cats, but cats don't like me.
Okay. 32. Thoughts on Insane Clown Posse?
They're better as a comedy group as they're all singers.
Huh. I was going to say, Insane Clown Posse is good. I gotta give them a big thumbs up. Big fan.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty mid. I don't think they're all that great. They're funny, yeah. They're funny in like interviews and on stage and stuff, but
their music's funny.
Yeah, they're clowns.
Yeah, that's why it's good, I think. If it succeeds, if it's meant to be funny and it's funny, I feel like that's good.
But they're funny, but their music's not funny.
I mean, their music's pretty funny. Would you not say so?
No, not really.
Have you ever heard their Beethoven cover? Or not their Beethoven, sorry, Mozart cover that they did?
I don't think so. I won't be able to judge that song.
They did a cover.
From what I've heard and seen so far, they're not really that great. They're okay. If somebody put it on, I wouldn't turn it off.
Okay. I feel like that's respectable enough. Yeah, I like Insane Clown Posse. I think they're good.
33. How do you pull women?
That's a good question.
You don't.
Yeah, I guess so. Heard it here first, folks. 34. How do you pull men?
You don't. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do either one.
Yeah. I'm gonna say
the one time that I had a girlfriend was sheer fucking luck.
I see. What was actually? Yeah, I won't dig that well any deeper. How do you pull men? Sorry, someone's using the garbage disposal thing upstairs. I don't know if anyone could hear that.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. Protein. 35. What is the meaning of existence?
Finding your way to enjoy it.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
The meaning of life is not really be successful. It's not really have a whole bunch of money when you die. It's not that. It's not a video game to win. It's finding what makes you happy and doing that.
Yeah.
Well, if your life is destitute and you're on the street, I guess, you just live. If you find what makes you happy, you cling on to that and you don't let go no matter what. Finding your way to enjoy life is the meaning to life.
Yeah, that's probably a good answer. I don't know. I don't think life is supposed to be fun, so I'm trying not to have fun. That's about it. I don't have a good answer for this one, unfortunately. If I did, I probably would. I don't know. I'd probably live my life very differently if there was actually a good answer. But oh well. Have you ever experienced ego death, and what was it like?
Yes.
Please tell me more.
I was tripping the fuck off of some shrooms, like going hard on that shit, and it felt really just like a soul bath. It felt like all my biases, all of my confidence, all of my hatred, all my everything was pretty much just washed away. Everything bad. everything that made me a bad person. Like it just felt like I was cleansed. That's what it felt like to me. That it was very temporary. Over if you wash, let's say like you have something, and like say gold, say gold got dirty, and you washed it. You wash it up good. He's all shiny. He's nice, but eventually you keep using him. He's gonna get dirty. He's gonna get dirty again, and that's what pretty much it's like. At least for me, it's different for everyone, but that was what it was like for me. I'm a completely different person now than I was back then.
Really, it's actually changed you. That's cool. Yeah, because that's what I've heard.
If you wash something, dirt will collect back on it again.
Do you think that you felt something like slipping away, like after you had that experience? Like, did you feel like you were losing it after that point? Like, not going crazy, but like losing what you gained from the experience over time?
For me, it didn't really feel like a gain. For me, it just felt like a rejuvenation. I had a new pep in my step. It was like, you ever watch Doctor Who? You feel like a different person.
I haven't watched Doctor Who, but I do know what you mean.
I'm just a nerd.
No, that's okay.
But for me, that's what it felt like. It just felt like a little bit of a rebirth. It's kind of what it's like. It fixes you up, but still...
No, yeah.
It starts you back at square one.
Yeah. I feel like I know too many people. I'm in terms of like psychedelic ego deaths. I know too many people who do psychedelics in a way that like is like attempting to get an ego death, and to me that seems like the worst idea ever. Like forcing yourself to have an ego death is because it can't as good as it can be. Like having your sort of rejuvenating experience. Like I've heard of people who just like it genuinely ruins their life because they just like, or ruins them temporarily. Like I've heard people who have kind of like ego dissolution hangovers for after doing psychedelics, and it's apparently just like the worst dissociative state you could possibly be in. So in a way, like I'm glad that it managed to do something for you, but I'm very scared of doing that, like doing psychedelics with that sort of mindset, because it just seems, I don't know, and not to accuse you of having done that or anything, but the closest I ever came to any sort of ego death was when I for some reason, whenever I smoke weed, it's basically a luck of the draw as to whether or not I will have fun or I will enter into psychosis. So one of the times I entered into psychosis, and I was throwing up at my friend's house, and I closed my eyes, and my heart started speeding up to the fastest it's ever felt, and I was certain I was going to die. So I basically was starting to feel this really sharp pain in my stomach because I was hungry. But at the time, I wasn't to know at the time because I was in the worst mental position I'd ever been in. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to die for sure. And this pain just kept coming stronger and stronger. So I started just clinging to individual concepts in my head, like different things that I thought were important to me. And it just kept going and going and going until I had, the scene in SpongeBob where he's burning all of the file folders in his brain? It was like that in my head until I ended up with just a blank slate of complete emptiness and just still this really bad nagging pain and stuff. And I was just sitting there on this terrible bathroom floor and was like, oh yeah, so there's just nothing. At the end of this tunnel, there's just absolutely nothing. I've successfully cleared out my brain. And then I just sat there completely blank. I had thought every single possible thought, and I wound up basically with this acceptance at that point that there was literally nothing to cling to, or nothing truly I don't know, nothing truly salvific. It was kind of in my own hands. But that was a weird experience because I really didn't feel. I felt like I had basically been drained of like 90% of whatever would have taken place in my head or something. It was just gone. I felt like dead, and then I got a text message from someone, and then it like completely woke me up, and then I was completely sober, and I drove home. It was very weird. That's probably the closest I ever got to anything resembling an ego death. But
pretty much, it sounds like an ego death.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was really not one of those. It didn't feel like a bath. It felt like I was. I don't know. It felt like I was drowning or something, and then I got to a point where just the drowning stopped, and I had just like straight up like ceased to live or something. It was very weird. I wouldn't recommend it, but like if you got to, you got to, I guess. Number 37. What was your worst nightmare?
I've had a lot of nightmares. I have a recurring nightmare that scares the crap out of me 110% of the time. It is that you can't see what I'm seeing right now, but I'm looking at my door. It's like a corner. My camera. That door. This goes out to my room.
What are those? Are those hooks on your wall? Sorry, not to intrude.
What?
Those studs on your wall.
The shelf used to be here.
Oh, okay. Just the brackets. I was confused.
Yeah.
Okay. They were all in
the shelf used to be there. That's just too lazy to pull out the bolts.
I see.
But yeah, I had a dream where it's very dark, and there's a figure peeking around that corner, just staring at me. It doesn't have like this. It's like a black figure, but it doesn't have the stereotypical big red eyes. It has big blue eyes. Ooh. But it's scary because I have a massive fear of being watched.
Yeah, and that happens, like, that's recurring? Sorry, that's a recurring nightmare for you?
What?
That's a recurring nightmare for you?
Yeah, recurring. It comes to me often. It's once a week.
Wow. Huh. I think I didn't really get, like, even as a kid I didn't really get nightmares, but I used to get sleep paralysis, and one time I got sleep paralysis, and then a guy. Have you ever seen that TV show Deadliest Catch?
I don't think so.
It's just this show on like Discovery Channel where it's like these guys that are on these big crab fishing boats and stuff, and they're in these big raincoats and they fish for crab. But I had this dream, or kind of, I guess it was like a sleep paralysis hallucination, where I was paralyzed in my bed, and then one of the guys like a lobster fisherman, kicked my door down, and then had a big pail, like a big Home Depot pail full of lobsters, and I threw them under my bed sheets, and I woke up terrified and covered in like sweat, and then I just started tearing off all the sheets in my bed, looking for lobsters, like seconds after I woke up, until I like fully got out of the thing, and I realized that there was actually no lobsters in my bed, and that ruined my day. Like, that was one that I spent the whole day just like, man, lobsters, and I was just thinking about how annoyed I was by it and how angry it made me at the time. So that's the one that for some reason stuck with me the most, was getting lobstered in my own bed. But yeah. Number 38. What is the weirdest dream you've ever had?
I don't know. I had this one dream, long time ago, where I was walking through like a forest, but it was so like plain white. Everything was like that, like the trees, the grass, everything was just white. And I'm walking through this forest, and I come across like this like statue of a hand that's like open like this. It has an eye in the middle. Like, there's a big blue eye.
Yeah.
The blue eyes seem to be a like recurring thing in my dreams. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is.
That's
But this Ewan statue, it like speaks to me. It says, "I am God."
And then, is that the end of the dream, or was
Yes.
that? Wow.
It says, "I am God," and then I woke up.
I wish my dreams were like that. Mine are never even a little bit impactful. That's cool though. I think
I had the scariest, most fucked up dreams you can imagine.
yeah, all my dreams are like Franz Kafka books of like just really painful, annoying things that happen in like really mundane spaces. It's like one time I think the weirdest dream I've ever had is one time me and my friend Adrian, this friend I used to know in middle school, him and I got trapped and we got locked in my grandmother's basement and the lights were off and we had to turn the lights on, but the lights were hooked up to this intricate contraption where the only way that you could turn them on was by pouring a certain amount of Dr. Pepper into this funnel. But we didn't have Dr. Pepper. We just had a big bag of Dr. Pepper syrup. And then my friend started peeing in the bag of Dr. Pepper syrup. And then we poured Dr. Pepper in the funnel. And then it turned the lights on. And I woke up.
What the hell?
So, yeah, that's probably the weirdest dream I've had. But most of my dreams are like that.
Oh my God.
Just these really pointless events that just they happen and then I wake up and accept them and then I move on. So yeah, that's probably my weirdest dream. It's nowhere near as cool as yours in any way.
No, I think that's fucking hilarious. I wish I had funny dreams.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes my life feel a bit like a joke sometimes, which maybe isn't what you want.
No, I am suffering an existential crisis every time I wake up. You
Yeah.
wish. You
Well, I guess
wish.
I do that like when I'm awake, mostly. Like I mostly find I'm crisising while I'm awake. So like maybe when I'm asleep, it's like my brain's time to just be like just turn into like a really horrible kids show for like 4 hours or however long I sleep, and then yeah, I don't know. Describe yourself, Paris.
Skinny white kid with long blonde hair and wears skull masks almost obsessively.
Okay, I'm gonna say skinny white kid with curly brown hair who wears no masks almost obsessively. Describe your co-host.
A pretty chill dude so far.
I'm gonna say my co-host is a pretty chill, skinny, white dude with long blonde hair who wears skull masks. I'm gonna lift your description a bit. I'm adding the pretty chill because so far I'm gonna say you're pretty chill. Number 41. What subscription company is the best, and what subscription company is the worst?
I don't fucking know.
Are you not subscribed to anything?
No, as far as I know, I don't. Like I subscribe to shit on YouTube, but that's as far as that's about as far as it goes.
You don't pay you don't have Netflix or anything, or
Oh, okay, yeah.
like that sort of stuff.
HBO Max. HBO Max is a game changer.
So that's the best one.
Mm-hmm. And the worst is probably VR Chat Plus.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, actually. That's probably got to be the worst one for anybody. I think my best subscription is Amazon Prime for getting same-day delivery stuff. That's always good. And then the worst is probably Spotify. I want to stop doing that, but
Want to break from the ads?
yeah, I want to break from the ads. My grandma buys my family Spotify subscriptions every Christmas, so I don't pay for my own Spotify. But once my grandma stops buying us Spotify subscriptions, I am going to stop using it altogether because I'm tired of it. So that's my answer.
That's why I use Apple Music.
Fair enough. Yeah, I used to use YouTube Music, but that had its own problems. It does have a good feature where you can send music that you've downloaded into a cloud and access it on any device. So I used to torrent a lot of music and stuff, and that was good because you could share it between a bunch of devices. But it also sucked for streaming, so I had to get rid of it. Yeah. Who is your role model and why?
I don't really know. I don't think I really have a role model. I mean, there's a lot of really cool people in the world. I'm no doubt about that. But I don't know. I just follow me. I don't base myself upon other people.
That's probably the best answer. Yeah, who do you look up to? Like, if you have people that you, is there anybody?
No, not really. Not really anybody. I know there's people in this world that I really enjoy, and people that are really nice to me, and I think are amazing, but not really a role model type way.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can probably learn something from everybody, so it's not. I do agree with you in that, I think as soon as you pick a role model or something, then you basically created a god of some kind that you now have placed on a higher pedestal than they probably need to be. Because every time I've had a role model, quote unquote, it's always somebody that is in different ways completely flawed. So it's it's not worth it to just cling to someone like that. I don't know. But I guess, yeah, a lot of the people that I surround myself with are just people generally. I think you can just learn by talking to people or interacting with other people. Get something from everybody wherever you can, I guess. That would probably be my answer. I don't know. A lot of artists and writers and stuff that I tend to be role models in certain ways, but probably not in any major way where they're worth noting. Are British people funny?
Some of them, yeah.
Which ones?
The entire crew behind Monty Python.
Nice. Yeah, British people are funny, both on purpose and just by default of being British, I think. I don't know, really Burroughs London people are funny, just generally, I think. That sort of thing. It's good. I want to go to England because my family's from there, and I could probably stay at some descendant family members house. My grandma did that a while ago, so I might do that. But I don't know, probably not. They're not funny enough for me to go to their shithole country. 44. Thoughts on emo people?
Most of my friends are all emo people, so that says anything.
Okay, so emo people are your friends.
Even though if you saw me, I'm pretty much the opposite of emo.
Does this mean emo people and people who are emotional, or emo people is in the emo subculture of people? Because
I think I don't know. Emo is usually the subculture.
Yeah, because I guess, yeah, there's especially emo music. I don't know, people who make emo music are there's a 50-50 chance that they're either going to be sex offenders or they're going to be very nice, very smart people. So I don't know. Thumbs up to all the nice people, but thumbs down to all of you sex offenders out there. What are you doing? 45 is vaping cool.
No.
Yes. 46. Have you ever had any experiences with actual crackheads?
Yes.
Please, elaborate.
They're the funniest fucking people in the entire world.
Tell me a story.
They're always at a Circle K at like some ungodly hour in the morning. Like you try to get a Polar Pop and they're just staring at you like this.
Yeah.
They are get a cigarette.
Have you ever given a homeless person or like a crackhead a cigarette?
Oh no. You usually just leave them alone and watch them do their own thing.
Do you ever talk to them or anything?
I tried to avoid them as much as possible, but I've talked to them before, and they speak absolute nonsense, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, fair enough. I like talking to them. I used to take the public transit all the time, so I definitely get approached a lot. One time I went into a public library, and there was a guy yelling about how it was this guy yelling about how black people run the White House, and he had this very like enthusiastic sort of like civil rights approach to the way he was talking, but he was clearly on like heroin or something, and so that was kind of interesting because he like I don't know, he was a black guy too, so it wasn't even like a racist like big like diatribe or anything. He was just yelling about how black people run the White House, and this was like post Obama too, so it didn't really make sense. And it was just really loud, and he got kicked out of the library by security. But he was walking like 2 feet behind me the whole time, so that's probably the best experience I've had with an actual crackhead. 47. What do you think in Paris?
Weirdest conspiracy theory you've ever heard? You touched on this a little bit with the whole Biden caused 9/11 thing way at the very beginning on question 10.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's pretty wacky, but I also heard one that the flat Earth theory is pretty strange. But I also heard one that was like the true God is like abandoned us or something. I don't know. The like true God exists and yada yada yada.
Yeah, like Gnosticism, like the whole idea that there's a God that created the God that created the world, and the good God created a God that was worse. It's like the bastard child of the actual God that created the world. That kind of thing. Like, I've heard stuff like that before. My favorite conspiracy theories are the ones that are really disconnected. I like the ones about like how my one friend, his aunt is really big into conspiracy theories, and she was of the belief that Donald Trump created a burner account so that so that he could follow her on Twitter. She has 80 followers on Twitter, and she believed that Donald Trump made a fake account to be one of them. Because she just tweets exclusively like QAnon stuff and like how the vaccine is like trying to calcify your pineal gland and like make you spiritually dead so that aliens can like harvest your organ energy and stuff. Like she's one of those people, which is like my favorite. That stuff is awesome. Like the belief that we live on a prison planet and our energies are being farmed by the Anunnaki. Like that stuff that's my favorite kind of conspiracy theory. I think just a really crazy one.
48. What is America?
What is America?
A hodgepodge of fucking things.
Yeah, probably the best damn country in the whole damn world. It's hands down.
17th in freedom, even though freedom's our entire ordeal.
Yeah, it's I don't know. America is down below me, I guess. I've been there a couple times. I went to Idaho.
Wait, are you fucking Canadian?
Yeah, I'm Canadian. Where are you from in America?
Indiana. Fucking Diet Ohio.
I want to go to Ohio. I haven't been there before.
Don't. Do not.
I know a couple people.
There's nothing there for you.
Yeah, I know. I've been to Idaho and I've been to California, and I've never been anywhere else. But
you wonder why Indiana is called the Crossroads of America?
Why?
You gotta go through here to get someplace better.
Yeah, that would make sense. I've never heard really of anything in Indiana, so I believe you.
That's exactly it. We're one of the forgotten states that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, it seems like it. It's like you in like Wyoming and I don't know, like
Vermont,
South Carolina, yeah, Maryland. So, most fascinating philosophical ideas you've ever heard?
I'm sure I could talk about this, but I'm not really remembering it. It was something about how we're all not really real, and everything else could be a complete dream.
Like the idea like that only you exist and everything else is...
Yeah, solipsism, that's what it's called.
Solipsism, oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting thing to me, but it's...
Yeah.
I don't think it has enough teeth to really be real. While it's interesting, and I've had very isolating ideas that kind of support that. Because I remember there was a time where I was kind of, I used to live next to a lot of woods, and I would just walk in there and just come back, yada, yada, yada. But I would walk in there and be really isolated from everything.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I used to go out there and just think, man, if something could happen outside, everybody else could be gone, and I just couldn't care.
Yeah. That's, because, yeah, solipsism is an interesting one, because I guess it's technically not one of those things that's very easy to disprove. Most people just kind of trust that it's not true. Like, even myself, like, I also trust that it's not true, but at the same time, there's no way for me to really prove that.
Right, so I heard another really good one that was like, what if there's like a limit of how many souls there can be on Earth at a time, and some people are quite literally just NPCs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that same thing with like the idea that overpopulation is a product of the excess of souls being reincarnated. This is this idea that like overpopulation is like taking like the growth of the human species is happening at a rate disproportionately higher due to the higher amount of reincarnations taking place, due to the higher amount of like debauchery that's taking place. I don't believe that one, but I mean like I've heard it said by like people who are Hindu, and it's kind of a weird one to think about. But I've heard that same thing with the NPCs, or like people who are like this idea of like spiritual vampires, like people who are made soulless and seek basically to drag you down, which is a really shitty.
No, that's not what the theory was about. It wasn't like spiritual vampires. It was just a limit of how many people are actually there. And since we created human beings,
so you mean like the Earth is populated by like, do you mean people who don't actually really exist, or people who are just robots? Like
people that are kind of just robots. They talk.
Okay.
They do the normal trendy stuff. They just try to blend in. Yada yada.
Yeah.
They act like they're human. And
I don't know.
whenever you try to break the normie barrier, they're just like, hey, whoa, dude. Yeah.
I feel like that's a really horrible way to view the world, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you
it's
believe that
fascinating,
everyone,
but I don't believe in it.
Yeah, okay. I was hoping, because like whenever I hear people talk about, when people describe other people as NPCs, I feel like that's maybe the most terrible thing you could possibly do. Is like acting like you're the only person who's actually a fully blown person, and everyone else is just fake. Like it takes a certain amount of courage and a certain amount of really intense narcissism to be that kind of a person.
Just some serious audacity to actually think that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of gross. Like when people act like that, and they're like, "Oh, when the NPCs find out about whatever," like, and they talk about stuff like that. It actually is like, I don't know.
We can all agree that Ohio is not real.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Ohio's like not quite real.
Yeah. It's a no man's land. It's a godless land. There's nothing really there for you.
Yeah, it's the final frontier.
Fucking Ohio. Anyway.
Yeah, the most interesting philosophical idea I've ever heard is like, I don't know, one I've been thinking about lately that's kind of cool is this idea of panpsychism, which is this theory about matter that's like, you know how like the problem with consciousness is notoriously a difficult one to entangle because it's like basically consciousness is sort of impossible to find in like an emergent system like the brain, where it's like how is it possible that eventually you can stack a bunch of meat in just the right way until eventually you get a human being, right? Like it's been like a seriously impossible thing. So the only two options really are like, you either assume you keep doing the like, oh, it's in there somewhere, or you keep doing the belief that it's like a religious thing. And then if you don't do the belief that it's a religious thing, then you have either the options of believing that the whole thing is fake and there's no consciousness, or you can go with the belief that consciousness is actually an inherent part of all matter, which is this idea of panpsychism. So it's like every single piece of matter that exists in the world has its own, like consciousness is an integral part of matter. Like all molecules are fundamentally thinking. It's just that they can be arranged in specific ways that amounts for systems like the human consciousness to actually emerge. So it's like every single thing is both matter and mind at the same time. So the idea would be that to explain consciousness, the only the mistake that the human being would be making is not the belief that consciousness is inside their brain, but the belief that consciousness is only inside their brain. So they're basically looking for something very specific that's just a de facto part of all matter on Earth. And I think that idea is really cool because it makes the world feel like it's alive in a way that's kind of interesting.
I heard something very similar to that. It was like a human being or an animal or anything, it's two different parts. A three-dimensional being and like otherworldly, in-between dimensional being, where our actions and what we do are kind of more like puppets. We act and we do pretty much as what our brain is thinking, our consciousness is thinking. Our consciousness thinking is something otherworldly that's like connected by some by some like spiritual gate through dimensions. Yeah. That's a very interesting philosophical theory that I heard.
Like the sort of idea that there's no self, right? Like that the self is actually an illusion, but your consciousness is part of some sort of like big consciousness that everyone takes part in.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about? Do you mean like what do you mean by spiritual gate? I was gonna what
I'm talking about is how we're kind of bound by spiritual strings, and we're not the thing that is actually thinking and talking. It's something else that we're connected to by some spiritual gate. Our selves, our brain, what we're thinking, what's in our head, is kind of being the thoughts and the ideas of something else that we're connected to.
Okay, so sort of like you mean like you have kind of the human brain, like the animal brain, and then a sort of like spiritual connection that is the active, like the soul and the mind kind of idea, right?
Yeah. The soul itself and the soul and the mind are pretty much the same thing in this idea.
Do you believe
the soul is connected to you, and the soul is controlling you like a puppet?
Yeah. Okay. So like you're piloting it. piloting a machine kind of thing. That makes sense. Do you believe in a soul? Do you believe that there's actually soul?
I believe to some degree that there is something similar to that, but
Okay. I was wondering, like, for some reason to me, I expected you to be like a hardline atheist. I don't know why.
I like the idea of spirituality. I am not like a full atheist.
Mm-hmm.
I am capable of hearing everybody out.
Okay, it's kind of.
I try to see the world as it is. I don't like to see things as narcissism. I don't like to see things as optimism. I see it as it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate that. I think that's an important thing to do. Is like, in a way, you kind of have to do your own research at some point because.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the world is like. The thing that's weird about the world is that there's basically infinite amounts of meaning that can be put into anything. Like it's like this idea that you basically have you have too many answers and too many answers for every single question. So it's like I think eventually you have to get to a point where you start to pick and choose the ones that function best, like for your own.
I think there's a big problem in this world is that people see things with too much optimism or come with such a everything has to be bad or everything has to be good type idea in their brain that it starts to change the way things actually are, and they're in an illusion. They're in La La Land. They're not in real life. So I think it's kind of a problem with people now.
Pessimism is the exact same way too, right? Like if you go with pure pessimism, then you eliminate any potential or like potentiality that exists in the world that you live in. So it's like, as much as I feel like people like get too optimistic, there's also a lot of really, really defeatist over pessimism. That's sort of like, even if the world is truly just like what is that stupid like Reddit thing? They're like, oh, we're just the monkeys on a rock in space, kind of like thing that people talk about. Like, even if the world is just that, and we're just God complex monkeys on a rock, I hate that shit so much. It's like it makes me angry. But like, if you accept
to feel small in the universe is to feel human.
Yeah, and it's like if you accept that thesis that we are just that, then like how do you'd have to actually pretend that you're not that in order to get anything out of life. And like I think it's bold to assume that human beings are like the only non-special part of nature. Because we look at nature or whatever and get amazed by it all the time. And
I want to bring up that my idea from earlier that finding your way to enjoy life in a world that absolutely fucking sucks is the best way to live life.
But I mean,
like, you can believe anything you want to, even if you know it's bullshit. If it makes you happy and it makes you enjoy life just a little bit more, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think you're right to an extent, but I feel like viewing the world purely as like a just negative thing, like even if you view it, even because the world is obviously like it's obviously a terrible place. Like there's nothing, everything is at war with everything at all times. The forces of whatever natural selection basically hinge on murder in order to even do anything. So it's like, it sucks. Like, the world is bad, sure. But, like, I feel like if you don't view it in a way where it's like, it actually has potential to improve, or you have potential to work your way through it in a productive way, then there's nothing you can even do. Like, you're stuck, effectively. So that's why I mean, like in the same way that there's really toxic amounts of optimism for some people, and they just live in like a spacious kind of like, I don't know, like you said, La La Land is a good way to put it. But I mean, there's also people who live in a similar sort of La La Land where it's like they won't even accept the idea that anything has some sort of potential quality to it. It's like that even that their own experience is useless or something like that, which I think your approach to it, which involves like that sort of realism thing, is genuinely like a good one, because you're willing to take the good and the bad as it comes, which I think is the biggest That's the biggest
Well,
part of it.
you're kind of playing devil's advocate and everything, which is difficult. Because
Yeah.
sometimes the other side of the argument is so horrible, it's impossible to hear them out.
Yeah,
It's
no,
really difficult.
I think there's something, like, with that, though. Like I'm not pro, like, devil's advocating or anything like that. I just think, like, I don't know. It's, I think, I like the way you approach it. Your realist kind of idea that you like to see the world as it is, which I think involves trying as hard as you can to see all that you are capable of seeing at all times, you know, like really trying to actually give things the benefit of the doubt, but also not giving things too much benefit at all times. Like,
the secret to me trying to find happiness in my life, which is, I'm probably the worst person to talk to about it, but the secret to what I try to find happiness in my life is let it go.
Yeah.
It's not simple. It's not easy at all. It's possibly the hardest thing you could ever do. But letting it go and not taking life too seriously and just trying to have fun is the best way to live life, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, you have to kind of take it seriously. Like, it is all you got.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to say don't take it totally seriously.
Yeah, have fun. Yeah, that's
yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, actually. I think there's just, yeah, you have to, I think what it comes down to is that it's like a thing where you have to be willing to pay attention to everything at all times, but don't treat everything as if it's the only thing of importance, like you said, and then letting things go is really important. I think forgetting is a key part of memory, like getting all hooked on things is not a good way to live. But at the same time, I don't know. I really can't speak about the meaning of life. I keep trying, but the more I do, the more I realize I'm falling flat on my face because, like, you don't know. Like, no one has a fucking clue. Like, I feel like it's good to not pretend like you know. You know?
Yeah. It's best to think that you don't know everything. If you humble yourself in that way, and if you live your life thinking that you know everything, you're gonna get humbled quick.
Yeah, I know. It's that. That's an important thing to me. Is like pleading ignorance when you actually are ignorant. You know, like not attempting to. I don't know, not attempting to make yourself look big or something. Like, because you can't learn if you pretend like you know everything. And, like, learning's important.
All right. I think we're maybe done with this question now to the final topic. 50. The thoughts on these topics.
These were good topics. Thank you, everyone, for submitting them.
Yeah, these were really amazing. They were really. I was expecting it to be more like people taking the piss out of us, like putting like joke shit in. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, it was some of them were, but like that's cool. What is your favorite question?
My favorite question, Jesus Christ. I like the one about the movies. I'm a massive movie fan, so.
That's fair enough. I like the question about. I thought the weirdest dream one was pretty interesting. Lots of good questions. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for the amazing questions.
All right, and I think that would mark the end of the CRYPTCAST.